Hey YouTube, what's going on? Happy Saturday night. Well, we don't need this. I'll move that out of the way. I cracked open this beautiful Greenlight Black Bandit green machine. Not showing up too great here, but it is a really nice little casting. That is until you turn it to the passenger side. So frustrated right now with Greenlight because I buy a sealed case of Black Bandit 19 and the Ford GT is worthless, and now this, the chase car that I got lucky enough to get, is worthless. At least this one will still display okay though. You can see that A-pillar looks like it has been cut. Whoa! Tree down, tree down. Anyways, so what I want to do with this video, I wanted to show you that. It's a shame because it's otherwise a really nice little car. Number 76. Awesome detail. Just that A-pillar. So, yesterday I went to the store on my lunch at work. It was a Walmart marketplace, and got lucky. I walk in, there's one of them like little miniature dump bins. It looked like it was relatively fresh, but I went through it. I pulled this out along with two of the purple Skylines, two of the gray R30 Skylines. There was like 7 of the Camaro ZL1s, but no luck. Then I walked back to the toy aisle, and on the pegs about 3 cars back, I found this. So I'm thinking to myself, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Little super. Card's busted up. That sucks, but at least I can try to get 15 or 20 bucks and maybe buy a Kyosho or something like that. Anyways, I get home last night and I start looking at eBay to see what these are selling for. And once you know it, if this card was mint, this would be a $120 car. But since the card is jacked up, I did sell this last night. It sold very quickly because of the rarity of it. I ended up getting $50 for this in this condition. So this will be shipped out Monday. But probably the coolest find I've had in a long time as far as like finding something that's super rare, super hard to find. So that's the update on that front. The rest of this video, anybody who's watched this channel the last 2 or 3 or even 4 months, I've been going after like oddball Toyota stuff. So I'm going to just recap that, my oddball Toyota stuff that I have. This is from Jada. It's the Toyota FT1 concept car. This is a car that was actually featured on an episode of Jay Leno's Garage. It's a pretty cool car. The only problem with this one here is that it's Jada, which is probably, in my book, a step below Majorette. I'm not too fond of Majorette cars either. Here's another Jada from that same JDM series. This is a Toyota Supra. I like this one a little bit better, I think, because Supras like this, or really of any kind, they're pretty tough to find, but especially the last generation Toyota Supras. There weren't many of them made in Diecast. So even though this is a pretty awful example, and I hate the fact that Jada went to 1:55 scale, Um, it says 64 on the base, but there's no way. This is definitely 1 to 55. So anyway, so those are the two Jada, which, you know, nothing special about those. But a lot of these other ones are, they're very unique, and some of them very hard to find. So let's get right into it. I'll start with this. This is some kind of promotional release. It's a Toyota MR2. Getty. Got the Ultra Hots on it. This is early 1990s. It might even be from 1990 or maybe 91. Plastic base. I don't think it's too rare, but this is a nice example of this car. It's in really, really good condition. Pretty darn close to loose mint. No flea bites or anything like that. So there's that one. Here's a Matchbox. I want to say this is 1994, maybe 95. It's a metal body, metal base. This one is also loose mint, so any imperfections on it are factory imperfections, because I pulled this one off the blister. So you know, I mean, some of these toolings aren't the best, but this is still, you know, you can look at it and tell right away that it's Toyota Supra, so it's not that bad. Black painted base. Really cool Toyota Supra. And since we're going to stick on that theme of Matchbox, here's a first gen Toyota MR2. This is 1 to 56 scale. And it's from around 1986, 1987. Awesome freaking casting. I love this casting. I would love for Kyosho to, or even Tomica Limited Vintage, I would love to see a first and second gen Toyota MR2. But this thing here is sweet. I think Tomica did one of these. I had the chance to buy one, but it's pricey. But this one's really nice. I don't think the Tomica one is any nicer than the Matchbox. I'm not a fan of basic Tomica stuff. But I will be showing some here, but the ones I have here are older. So I think the older Tomica stuff was a little bit better than a lot of the new stuff that they've been putting out. But a really cool Toyota first generation MR2. Here's an old one. I've shown this a couple times. I don't know what year this is from, but it's 1 to 53 or 1 to 55 scale. It says 1 to 53, but this is not 1 to 53. I think 1 to 55 is probably pretty accurate, but it's an old majorette Toyota Land Cruiser. Now this one's not mint. This one has been played with, but I paid $1 for this car. There's no doubt in my mind I could sell this for at least 10 times that in the condition it's in. And this is a sweet Land Cruiser, man. It's metal body, metal base. You got the winch up front. This little thing opens. If you want to mess with it enough, it opens, which I don't think I do. There we go. So pretty awesome. This thing is so durable. I mean, it's built rock solid. They did a Grand Wagoneer that was really cool as well. But yeah, so there's that Toyota Land Cruiser. And then this one here, this is one of my favorites. I got this in a trade from Paul Roselle. Another Matchbox. This is probably closer to 1980. The date on the base is 1982, but Toyota Supra. This thing is so cherry. It couldn't be any more mint than it is. I received it loose, but you can tell it's something that has been very well taken care of. Just an awesome car. I love this Toyota. All right, and then a couple of, well, before I get into those, the last Hot Wheels would be this one. And I received this in my last REOK box. Another one that's, it's not mint, but it's in really, really nice shape for the age because it's about 1982. Another Supra. This is a Hot Wheels Blackwall. All the chrome is still on the tires. There's no flea bites on this thing. The windows are a little bit dirty, and that's about the only thing wrong with it. Just a beautiful car. Maybe a little bit of wear along the edge of the hatch. But I love this car. This one and this one are two of my favorite Toyotas that I have. Now, this is just my Toyota Oddball, like cheaper stuff. I have a whole collection of premium detailed stuff, which consists of like a whole bunch of Kyosho, Tomica Limited Vintage, Konami, Tamiya, stuff like that. And that would be for a different video. Okay, so a couple of interesting cheap castings. I don't even know what brand they are. I would speculate. I think this one, which is a Toyota Tacoma, I don't know that it's Maisto, but it feels very much like a Maisto. It just has that super cheap feel to it. But it is nice enough that you can distinguish which, what model it is. So, interesting little Toyota Tacoma. Another one that's kind of actually exactly the same to me, has that same exact really cheap feel, like a Maisto feel. This is a Toyota 86. This also came in my Roke box with the red Toyota Supra. Pretty rad now. Both the Tacoma and this, for as cheap as they are, they do have headlight and taillight detail. This also doesn't include any of the Hot Wheels Toyotas that I have, and I have a whole bunch of those. But that would be a separate video from this one and the premium Diecast one. Okay, so the rest of these, you start getting into some pretty cool stuff, I think. This one, if it was in mint condition, might be in my Carney case displayed with all my detailed stuff. This is a Racing Champions Toyota Supra. And I believe this came in a REOK box as well. It's missing the spoiler, but other than that, it's in pretty nice condition. Got a little bit of play wear, not much, but it's definitely nice enough to go into my Oddball Toyota collection. This car to buy new in the packaging is not cheap. Definitely not a cheap car. for the price that you pay for it, you could almost buy the Tamiya, which is the nicest Toyota Supra ever made in 1:64 scale, in my opinion. But I think that Tarmac, when it comes out, hopefully they do a civilian deco with that car. Most of the rest of these are Tomica. So before I get into the Tomicas, I have one other Hot Wheels. This is a Hot Wheels 100% car or truck. It's a Toyota Tundra. Toyota Tundra Baja truck. They did a couple of these with a couple of different decos. My favorite is the white one with the orange, red, and yellow stripes. I used to have it. That thing is so expensive now. The Johnny Lightning Land Cruiser, which is a Bishop exclusive, with that deco is selling for over $100. So there's something about that deco that is highly desirable. Matchbox has used it. Maisto's used it. Hot Wheels has used it. Johnny Lightning has now used it. So it's a very popular deco. This one here you can find pretty cheap. And this is also a popular deco that was used by Johnny Lightning on one of the recent Miho Land Cruisers. And this truck looks really nice displayed next to that one because they have the same deco. But this is a nice truck. It's pretty much mint condition and definitely an awesome Toyota to have. So from there we get into all of the Tomica stuff, and some of it new, some of it old. So here's a Tomica Hiace. The copyright date is 1991. I think this is pretty old. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was an early 1990s release. And this one you can see it's been loved and played with. It's on a Japan base. Does have the suspension. Rolls really nice. Not the best, but it definitely rolls nice. And I think this one might have at some point, I think these lights might have lit up at some point because there's a huge, there's something inside of the van, like some kind of, almost looks like a housing for like a battery. Well, you see how you can't see all the way through it? There's something in there blocking that. Here's your shot inside the van. And so I think almost like there's a battery in there, and I think these would light up somehow, maybe by pushing down. I know Matchbox did stuff like that back in the day. But I've just never seen a diecast car with something like that in the middle of it, inside of it. So, but I don't know. I could be wrong. It could just be nothing. So there's that Tomica. Another Tomica. This is probably the most valuable of all of these. This was also given to me as a random act of kindness from a good buddy of mine. I've gotten to know him pretty well, and I like the dude. You all are probably pretty familiar with him. Champion DJK, he sent me this. It is a Toyota Land Cruiser on a Japan base. So this, we are thinking, goes back to pocket car era, but I don't think it's a pocket car. And of all of these that show up on eBay, this one doesn't seem to show up often. This off-white color with the black top and the red interior, it seems to be a really hard one to find. Now this one is missing the grille, but if you go onto eBay, there are a ton of these that are missing that, and they still sell for big money. So this is definitely a valuable casting. I would say in the condition it's in, probably between $20 and $30. Everything else about it is in perfect condition. There's no scratches, no flea bites, no, well, maybe just a small little smudge there on that front fender. But outside of that, it is in very, very nice condition. Okay, maybe another one there. Maybe just a slight little bit of play wear. These old Tomicas do have opening doors. Really nice suspension. This thing is an excellent roller. So there is that Land Cruiser. This one is a newer Tomica Premium. It's just not nice enough to go in with my premium detailed stuff. It doesn't, I don't know. It's just, I don't put it there. Although, you know, some would probably consider this nice enough to be displayed with the TLV and the Kyosho. To me, I don't. I think it's more of an oddball Toyota casting. If it had rubber tires and it didn't have opening doors, then I don't know. It's a very nice little casting. It would be better if it had the suspension slammed. But prototypical wheels, transparent lensed headlights, Tampo taillights. It's a very nice Toyota Supra. And then this Tomica, well, this one's pretty basic. These are pretty easy to find, and they're not expensive at all. I think you can get these around $5. This is a Toyota FJ Cruiser. I do have a Kyosho FJ, which you get this side by side with that. You can see there's just no comparison. The Kyosho is far superior, which is why it's displayed in the Carney case, and this one is not. But this is a good, inexpensive option if you want a decent-looking FJ Cruiser, but you don't want to spend $25. And these are very, very easy to find. So that's pretty cool. Now this one is another older Tomica. This has a... it's a 1992... Tomy plastic base. It's a Japan base, and it is the Toyota Hilux, which these are known here in the United States as 4Runners. So this would be your Toyota 4Runner. Yeah, it's a nice little casting. What's crazy though is I like the Matchbox one better. Thing is though, the Matchbox is a first gen 4Runner, and this one here is a second gen 4Runner, and there aren't many second gen. This might be the only second gen 4Runner casting out there in the scale, which by the way is 1:65. Opening doors, sprung suspension. Doesn't have lensed headlights or taillights, but does have a lot of detail, a lot of sculpted detail, and definitely more detail than what you would find from Hot Wheels and Matchbox of that time. And then the last one, and probably the second most valuable after the Land Cruiser, although that 4Runner is probably $15 to $20 car. This one's not as expensive as I thought, but it's a pretty tough little piece to find, and it's an awesome little casting. 1994 copyright, 1:57 scale, so it is rather large. But it's just so cool because where else are you going to find a first generation Toyota RAV4 or any generation Toyota RAV4. They virtually don't exist in diecast. And this thing is so it's just such a good representation of what those first gen RAV4s looked like. If I ever, well, I don't know. Let me let's do something here real quick. So what I was going to say is if I ever were to decide to part ways with this stuff here, I would probably sell this Toyota collection as a lot. I don't think I would piece it out. It's just too cool. It's just like, it's a real eclectic little mix of cars. There's not a ton of them here, maybe, what, 15 or 20? But it's just like a unique collection. And, you know, if I wanted, I could throw my Hot Wheels Toyotas in here, my Matchbox Toyotas, because I've got some nice Matchbox Toyotas as well. But this portion of my Toyota collection is unique for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't care about the brand. Number two, I don't really care about the condition. The condition of these cars ranges from fairly beat up and played with to pretty much mint. You know, like, that's one thing about this RAV4 and this Toyota Hilux, is that they are both basically mint condition. Whereas that MR2 has been played with and loved. So, all right, well, there you go. Toyota oddities. Happy hunting. I'll holler at the next one.